Is staying in a broken marriage really protecting your children, or just delaying the damage? My name is Savannah Mitchell and I need to tell this story. I need anyone to hear what I'm going through. Please keep this anonymous. I'm sitting in my living room right now, December 20, postpartum depression I didn't have time to address. I didn't have the energy to fight anymore. So I stopped fighting. I gave up when the twins were about 18 months old. It was a specific moment, a specific day. November 14, 2019. I remember because it was my 32nd birthday. Jason had promised to come home early to take me out to dinner while my mother watched the boys. I'd bought a new dress. Black fitted, made me feel attractive for the first time since giving birth. I did my hair, my makeup. I was excited. He called at 6:30 p.m. Baby, I'm so sorry. This client meeting is running late. I'll be home by 9, I promise. We can do a late dinner. I just knew he wasn't at a client meeting. I could hear music in the background, the sound of people laughing. He was at a bar or a restaurant and he wasn't alone. I took off the dress. I washed off the makeup. I put on sweatpants and ate leftover pizza alone in my kitchen while my mother gave me sympathetic looks she thought I didn't notice. Jason came home at 11:47 p.m. I know because I watched the clock the entire time. When he walked in I could smell perfume. Not his cologne. A woman's perfume, something vanilla and sweet. He started to apologize, to make excuses. I held up my hand. Stop. Savannah. Just stop. I don't want to hear it anymore. Something in my voice made him pause. I looked at him, this man I'd married 7 years ago, this man who'd given me 2 beautiful sons and countless moments of pain. I'm done, I said. I'm not leaving you. I'm not divorcing you. But I'm done caring about this. Do whatever you want. Just come home to me and the boys at the end of the day. That's all I ask. He looked confused. What are you saying? I'm saying I surrender. You win. I can't fight this anymore and I can't leave because I won't put Jake and Noah through what I went through as a kid. So you do whatever you need to do and I'll be here with our sons. That's our marriage now. I expected relief from him. Instead, I saw something like disappointment flash across his face. As if my surrender took all the fun out of his betrayals. Savannah, I don't want it to be like this. Well, this is what you've made it. I walked upstairs to check on the boys. They were sleeping in their cribs, Jake with his thumb in his mouth, Noah clutching his stuffed elephant. I stood there watching them breathe and I made myself a promise. I would give them the childhood I never had. A home with both parents. Stability. Normalcy. Even if it killed me. The years between the twins' 2nd birthday and their 6th birthday blur together in my memory. I focused entirely on being a mother. I threw myself into Jake and Noah's lives. Their preschool, their activities, their playdates. I took them to swimming lessons at the Paradise Valley Community Center every Tuesday and Thursday. I enrolled them in T-ball when they turned 4. I read to them every night before bed. Their favorite was Where the Wild Things Are. Jason continued his pattern. Different women. Different excuses. I stopped asking questions. I stopped looking at his phone. I stopped sniffing his clothes for perfume, though I could always smell it. I talked to other mothers at the boys' school, Desert Shadows Elementary. During pickup time, we'd stand in the parking lot making small talk while our kids played on the equipment. One afternoon in 2022, a woman named Patricia confided in me. Can I tell you something? She said, looking around to make sure no one else could hear. My husband had an affair last year. With his assistant. It nearly destroyed me. What did you do? I asked, my heart beating faster. I stayed, she said simply. For the kids. For the house. For the life we'd built. He promised to end it and go to therapy. So far he's kept his promise. But I don't trust him anymore. I don't think I ever will. Another mother, Monica, shared a similar story. And another. And another. It seemed like half the married women I knew were dealing with cheating husbands. They all had different ways of coping. Some demanded access to phones and emails, some insisted on therapy, some just looked the other way. I looked the other way. At least Jason comes home, I told myself every night. At least he provides for us. At least the boys have their father. My mother kept calling from Flagstaff, where she'd moved after her 2nd divorce. Savannah, honey, you need to leave him. This isn't a marriage. This is slow suicide. I'm fine, Mom. You're not fine. I can hear it in your voice. You sound dead inside. She wasn't wrong. I felt like a ghost in my own life, going through the motions, pretending everything was okay while something inside me withered and died. But Jake and Noah were thriving. They were happy, well-adjusted kids. They loved their father. Jason was good with them when he was around. He coached their little league team. He took them to Diamondbacks games. He read them bedtime stories on the nights he was home. See, I told myself, this is worth it. They're happy. The week before everything fell apart started normally enough. It was December 2024. Jake and Noah were excited about Christmas. We just put up our tree, a 7-foot Douglas fir that filled our living room with the smell of pine. The boys had decorated it with ornaments they'd made in school, construction paper stars and glued-on glitter. Jason had been distant that week. More distant than usual. He'd come home late every night, barely touched his dinner, spent most of his time in his office with the door closed. On Tuesday night I knocked on his door around 10 p.m. Jason, are you okay? Fine. Just busy with work. Do you want to talk? No. I went to bed alone like I did most nights. On Wednesday I tried again. Jason, if something's wrong you can tell me. I know things between us aren't perfect, but we're still partners. We're still a team. He looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. Are we, Savannah? Are we really a team? What does that mean? Nothing. Forget it. On Thursday night he didn't come home at all. He texted me at 11 p.m., working late. Sleeping at the office. See you tomorrow. I knew he wasn't sleeping at any office. But I was too tired to care. I'd spent the day dealing with Jake's upset stomach and Noah's tantrum over homework. I just wanted to sleep. Friday was December 20th. Jason came home around 7 p.m. The boys ran to greet him at the door like they always did. Daddy. Daddy. Can we watch a movie? Not tonight, buddy. Daddy's tired. He kissed them both on the head and walked past me without a word. I ordered pizza for dinner. We ate in near silence. Me, Jason, and the boys. Jake and Noah chattered about their day at school, about their friend Tyler's birthday party, about the Lego set they wanted for Christmas. Jason barely responded. After dinner I got the boys ready for bed. Bath time, teeth brushing, pajamas, stories. By the time I came back downstairs, Jason was sitting on our couch, staring at the TV without really watching it. Jason, what's going on? He didn't answer. Jason. He turned to look at me, and for the first time in years, I saw real fear in his eyes. I need to tell you something, he said. My stomach dropped. What? He handed me an envelope. Manila, official looking, with Banner Health Laboratory Services, printed in the corner. What is this? My hands were shaking as I took it. Just read it. I opened the envelope. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Laboratory test results. At the top, Jason James Mitchell, Doobie 08/15/1988. My eyes scanned down the page. HIV-1/HIV-2 antibody screen, reactive. HIV-1 RNA quantitative PCR. 285,000 copies/ml. Result. Positive for HIV-1 infection. The paper slipped from my hands and floated to the floor. The room started spinning. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. Savannah. I screamed. A sound I didn't know I could make, primal and raw, came tearing out of my throat. Jason jumped up and covered my mouth with his hand. The boys, he hissed. They'll hear you. I shoved him away from me hard enough that he stumbled. Then I started hitting him. Slapping his face, pounding my fists against his chest, scratching at his arms. I wanted to hurt him the way he'd hurt me. I wanted him to feel even a fraction of the pain exploding through my body. How could you? I was sobbing so hard I could barely form words. How could you do this to me? To our sons. He tried to grab my wrists, but I jerked away. Don't touch me. Don't you ever fucking touch me again. Savannah, please let me explain. Explain? Explain? You have HIV. How the hell do you explain that? My legs gave out and I collapsed onto the floor, my back against the wall, pulling my knees to my chest. Jason sat down across from me, tears streaming down his face. Her name is Vanessa, he said quietly. I've been seeing her for about 3 months. She works at Sunrise Cafe in Mesa. Last week she collapsed at work. They took her to the hospital. She was really sick. Fever, pneumonia, losing weight. They ran tests. He paused, wiping his eyes. She has AIDS, Savannah. Full-blown AIDS. She's had HIV for years and didn't know it. Or maybe she knew and didn't tell me. I don't know. The hospital contacted her previous partners and that included me. They recommended I get tested immediately. I got the results this morning. I stared at him, trying to process this information through my shock and rage. 3 months. You've been sleeping with her for 3 months. Yes. And me. You've been sleeping with me too. We've been trying for another baby. We've been having unprotected sex almost every single night for 2 months. His face crumpled. I know. God, Savannah, I know. I'm so sorry. Sorry. I laughed, a horrible sound. You're sorry? You've given me HIV because you couldn't keep your dick in your pants and you're sorry? I didn't know she was positive. You didn't know any of them were positive. You've been fucking strangers for 12 years without protection, and you're surprised one of them had HIV. Then another thought hit me like a punch to the gut. The boys. Jake and Noah. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. The boys, I whispered. Jason, the boys. They're fine. They can't. You take them to the barber. You share clippers. You share razors. You let them use your toothbrush when they can't find theirs. His face went white. No. No, Savannah, they can't get it that way. Are you sure? Are you absolutely fucking sure? Because I'm not. I was screaming again, past caring if Jake and Noah heard. You share everything with them. You let Noah drink from your water bottle. You let Jake use your razor last month when he wanted to shave like daddy. I scrambled to my feet and ran to the stairs. I need to call Rachel. The boys are with her this weekend. I need her to take them to the hospital right now. Jason caught my arm. Savannah, wait. Don't call her yet. I whirled on him. Are you insane? Our 6-year-old sons might have HIV and you want me to wait. I just think we should think about this. We can't panic. We need to get them tested, yes, but we need to do it carefully. If you call Rachel right now freaking out, she's going to ask questions. He's going to want to know why. And then everyone will know. I don't give a fuck if everyone knows. I care about our sons. So do I. But let me go get them tomorrow. I'll bring them straight to the hospital. We'll get them tested. But we don't need to tell anyone else yet. Please, Savannah. Please. I wanted to argue. But part of me knew he was right. If I called Rachel in hysterics right now, demanding she take the boys to the emergency room, she'd want explanations I wasn't ready to give. Fine, I said finally. But you go get them first thing in the morning. 7 Uhr morgens. You drive to Tucson and you bring them back here and we take them straight to Phoenix Children's Hospital. Do you understand me? Yes. I'll call and make the appointment right now. And me. I need to get tested too. I know. I'll make you an appointment. I looked at this man I'd been married to for 12 years. This man who'd fathered my children. This man who'd broken every promise he'd ever made to me. I want you to sleep somewhere else tonight. The guest room. The couch. Your car. I don't care. But you don't sleep in our bed. Savannah. Go. He went. I stood there in our living room surrounded by our Christmas tree and our family photos and all the trappings of our fake happy life, and I let myself fall apart. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? I sat on my bed with my laptop, Googling HIV transmission, reading medical journals and CDC websites and forum posts from people newly diagnosed. The more I read, the more terrified I became. The chances of the boys contracting HIV from sharing razors or clippers were low, the website said. Very low. But not zero. Never zero. If the razor had cut them even a tiny nick and then cut Jason, there was a chance. A small chance, but a chance. And me. Me. I'd been having unprotected sex with Jason multiple times a week for 2 months. The chances of me being infected were not low. They were high. Very high. I read statistics. Female to male transmission rate during one episode of unprotected sex is about 0.04%. Male to female transmission rate is 0.08%. Double. But that was per encounter. We'd had dozens of encounters. The math was horrifying. Around 3 a.m. I went to check on the boys. I did this every night, a ritual from when they were babies that I'd never stopped. I'd go to their room, watch them sleep for a few minutes, make sure they were breathing, make sure they were safe. They were in their twin beds, Jake on the left, Noah on the right. Jake was spread-eagled on his back, covers kicked off, one arm dangling off the side of the bed. Noah was curled in a ball, hugging his stuffed elephant, thumb in his mouth. They look so small. So innocent. So perfect. I sat on the floor between their beds and I cried. Silent, ugly crying, the kind where you can't catch your breath. I thought about them growing up. I thought about them in middle school, high school, college. I thought about them falling in love, getting married, having children of their own. Would they live long enough for any of that? Or had their father's selfishness stolen their future before it even began? I must have fallen asleep on their floor because the next thing I knew, Jake was shaking my shoulder. Mommy? Why are you on the floor? Sunlight was streaming through their window. I checked my phone, 6:47 a.m. I wanted to be close to you guys. Are you sick? Noah asked, sitting up in his bed. No, baby. I'm fine. You look sad. Children see everything. We think we can hide things from them, but they always know. Come here, I said, opening my arms. They both climbed into my lap even though they were really too big for it now. I held them tight, breathing in the smell of their strawberry shampoo and the laundry detergent on their pajamas. I love you both so much, I whispered. More than anything in the whole world. We love you too, Mommy, Jake said. Are we going to Aunt Rachel's again today? Noah asked. No. Daddy's going to pick you up this morning and bring you home. Why? Because I miss you. I want you home. That was true. It was also incomplete. But what was I supposed to say? Because you might have HIV and we need to test you immediately? Jason knocked on their door at 7:02 a.m. Boys? Ready to go. I got them dressed, packed their overnight bags, kissed them goodbye at the door. Jason loaded them into his car, a black Toyota 4Runner, and I watched them drive away. Then I called Phoenix Children's Hospital and confirmed Jason had made the appointments. He had. 9:30 a.m. for both boys. I made my own appointment at Banner Health for later that afternoon. And then I sat down to wait. Jason brought the boys back at 9:15 a.m. They burst through the front door, excited and chattering. Mommy, Daddy bought us donuts. And we listened to our favorite songs in the car. I forced a smile. That sounds fun, guys. But we need to go somewhere else now. We're going to the doctor. The doctor? What? I don't feel sick, Jake said. It's just a checkup. To make sure you're healthy and strong. But we just had checkups last month, Noah protested. Jason intervened. Sometimes doctors want to check more than once. To be really sure. It's no big deal. There might even be stickers afterward. The promise of stickers convinced them. Phoenix Children's Hospital is in Central Phoenix, a large facility with bright murals on the walls and a play area in the lobby. We checked in at the desk and they directed us to the pediatric wing. Dr. Melissa Peterson met us in the waiting room. She was in her early 40s with kind eyes and a warm smile. Jason had obviously told her something over the phone because she didn't ask any questions in front of the boys. Ijaka, Inoa. I'm Dr. Peterson. We're going to do a quick blood test today, okay? I don't like needles, Noah said, grabbing my hand. I know needles can be scary. But I promise we'll be super fast and you can squeeze your mom's hand the whole time. She led us to an examination room. The boys sat on the paper-covered table swinging their legs. Jason stood in the corner looking like he might vomit. I stood next to my sons holding both their hands. A nurse came in with the supplies. She was efficient and gentle, talking to the boys the whole time about their favorite cartoons. Jake went first. He squeezed my hand hard when the needle went in, but he didn't cry. Noah cried a little, but he was brave. All done, the nurse said brightly. You both did amazing. Let me get you those stickers. She left the room. Dr. Peterson looked at Jason and me. The results will take a few hours. The lab will run a rapid HIV test first, which gives us results in about 20 minutes, but we'll also run a more comprehensive test that takes 2 to 3 hours. We should have something definitive by this afternoon. I'll call you as soon as I know anything. Can we wait here? I asked. You can, but it might be easier on the boys if you take them home, keep them distracted. I promise I'll call the moment I have results. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to camp out in that hospital until I knew my sons were okay. But Dr. Peterson was right. Jake and Noah didn't need to spend hours in a hospital waiting room. Okay, I said finally. We'll go home. But please call me immediately. Don't wait. Even if you just have the rapid test results. I will. I promise. We drove home in silence, the boys absorbed in a movie on the car's screen. Jason parked in our driveway and turned to me. Savannah, don't. I need to say this. Whatever happens today, whatever those results are, I will never forgive myself. I know you can't forgive me either. But please know that I never meant for any of this. I never meant to hurt them. I looked at him, this man who'd destroyed our lives with his carelessness and his selfishness and his inability to keep his promises. You never meant to hurt them? That's your defense? Jason, you've spent our entire marriage doing exactly what you wanted, whenever you wanted, with whoever you wanted. You never thought about consequences. You never thought about me or them or anyone but yourself. So don't sit there and tell me you never meant to hurt them. You just didn't bother to think about them at all. He flinched like I'd slapped him. You're right, he said quietly. You're right about all of it. We went inside. I made the boys lunch, grilled cheese sandwiches and apple slices, their favorite. We played a board game. We built a Lego set. I was on autopilot, going through the motions, checking my phone every 30 seconds. At 11:52 a.m. my phone rang. Dr. Peterson. I ran to the other room before answering. Hello. Savannah, it's Dr. Peterson. I have the rapid test results. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. And both boys are negative. I collapsed against the wall, my legs giving out. Negative? Are you sure? The rapid test is very reliable, but we're still running the comprehensive panel to be absolutely certain. But based on these initial results, I'm very confident that Jake and Noah are HIV negative. I was sobbing into the phone. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll call you in about 3 hours with the final results. But Savannah? Breathe. This is very good news. I hung up and slid down the wall to the floor. They were negative. My boys were negative. Jason appeared in the doorway. Savannah? Was that the doctor? I nodded, unable to speak. What did she say? The rapid test. The boys, they're negative. He made a sound somewhere between a sob and a gasp and sank to his knees. Oh thank God. Oh thank God. We stayed there on opposite sides of the hallway, both crying, connected only by our shared relief. But then I remembered I still had my own appointment in 2 hours. And something told me my results wouldn't be the same. Banner Health Clinic on East Thomas Road in Phoenix was less cheerful than the Children's Hospital. Sterile white walls, uncomfortable chairs, fluorescent lighting that made everyone look sick. I checked in and filled out paperwork. Medical history. Previous STD tests, all negative. Sexual partners, just one. My husband. But that one sexual partner had dozens of others. A nurse called my name. She was older, maybe 60, with gray hair pulled back in a bun. She took my blood pressure, elevated, my temperature, normal, my weight, down 10 pounds from my last physical. Stress does that. The doctor will be in shortly. I sat on the examination table in the small room, staring at the STD prevention posters on the wall. One showed a young couple holding hands, talk to your partner about testing. Another showed a smiling woman, knowledge is power. The posters felt like mockery. Dr. Singh came in, a tall Sikh man with a kind face and a turban. He shook my hand gently. Mrs. Mitchell. I understand you're here for HIV testing today. Yes. Can you tell me why you're seeking testing? I took a deep breath. My husband just tested positive. We've been having unprotected sex. I'm fairly certain I've been exposed. He nodded, his face neutral, professional. I see. How long have you been sexually active with your husband since his exposure? About 2 months of regular unprotected intercourse. Multiple times per week. He made notes on his tablet. Any symptoms? Fever, rash, swollen lymph nodes, fatigue. I thought about it. I've been tired. But I have 6-year-old twins. I'm always tired. Any other sexual partners? No. Just my husband. Any history of drug use? No. Blood transfusions in the past 20 years? No. He looked up from his tablet. Mrs. Mitchell, I'm going to be honest with you. Given your exposure and the timeline you've described, there's a significant chance you may have contracted HIV. But we won't know for certain until we get your test results. I'm going to order both a rapid test and a comprehensive screening. The rapid test will give us preliminary results in about 20 minutes. Is there anyone here with you today? No. I'm alone. Would you like me to call someone? A family member or friend? No. I just want to get this over with. A different nurse came in to draw blood. She was young, early 20s, and she made nervous small talk while she worked. "How's your Saturday going? Got any fun plans for Christmas?" "My family's doing a big party on Christmas Eve." I wanted to scream at her to shut up, but I just said, "That sounds nice." After she left, I sat alone in that room for 19 minutes. I counted them on the wall clock. I stared at that clock, watching the second hand go around and around. At minute number 18 there was a soft knock on the door. Dr. Singh came in. His face told me everything before he said a word. "Mrs. Mitchell, I'm very sorry. Your rapid test came back reactive for HIV." The room tilted. "We'll need to run confirmatory tests, but in conjunction with your known exposure and symptoms, I'm confident that you are HIV positive." "I'm 37 years old," I heard myself say. "I have 6-year-old twins. I've only ever been with one man. And now I have HIV. I know this is devastating news." "Devastating?" I laughed, a broken sound. "That's one word for it." He sat down on the little wheeled stool. "Mrs. Mitchell, Savannah, I know this feels like the end of the world right now. But I want you to understand something. HIV is no longer a death sentence. With proper treatment you can live a normal lifespan. You can be healthy. Your viral load can become undetectable, which means you can't transmit the virus to anyone else." "I don't care about living a normal lifespan," I said. "I care about my sons. I care about the fact that they're going to grow up with a mother who has HIV because she was too stupid to leave a cheating husband. Your sons are going to grow up with a mother who loves them and who is taking care of her health. That's what they'll remember." He went on to explain treatment options, mentioned starting antiretroviral therapy immediately, talked about monitoring viral loads and CD4 counts. I heard the words but couldn't process them. Before I left he gave me pamphlets. Living with HIV, a guide. What to tell your family. Treatment options and resources. I threw them all in the trash can in the parking lot. I sat in my car for a long time, maybe an hour, maybe more. I watched people walk in and out of the clinic. A pregnant woman holding her partner's hand. An elderly couple moving slowly. A teenager with purple hair. All of them probably had their own problems, their own pain. But none of them were me. None of them had just found out that their husband's infidelity had given them HIV. Finally I called my mother. She answered on the second ring. "Savannah? Honey, is everything okay?" And then I told her everything. My mother's voice went from concerned to furious in about 5 seconds. "That son of a bitch," she said, her voice shaking. "That goddamn son of a bitch. I'm coming to get you. Right now. Pack your things and the boys' things. You're leaving him tonight." "Mom. No, Savannah. No more excuses. No more, but the boys need their father, but what will people think? He gave you HIV. He could have given it to your sons. This ends today." I was crying again, sitting in my car in that clinic parking lot. I know you're right. Where are the boys now?" "At home with Jason." "Is he watching them?" "Yes." "Hey, here's what we're going to do. I'm leaving Flagstaff right now. It's a 2.5-hour drive. I'll be there by 5:30. I want you to go home, pack bags for you and the boys, and be ready to leave when I get there. Don't argue with him. Don't explain. Just pack and wait for me." "Okay. Savannah, I love you. And I'm so sorry this happened to you. But we're going to get through this. You and me and those boys. We're going to survive this." I drove home in a daze. Jason's car was still in the driveway. Through the living room window I could see him and the boys playing with Legos on the floor. The scene looked so normal. So innocent. Like we were a regular happy family. I sat in my car for a few more minutes, gathering my strength. Then I went inside. Jason looked up when I walked in. His face was hopeful. "Hey, how did it go?" The boys didn't notice my arrival, absorbed in building some kind of elaborate Lego spaceship. Kitchen. Now. He got up and followed me. I closed the kitchen door behind us. "I'm positive," I said flatly. His face crumpled. "Oh God. Savannah, I'm so sorry. Stop saying you're sorry. Stop apologizing. It doesn't mean anything anymore. What do we do now?" "We don't do anything. I'm taking the boys and leaving. My mother is on her way. We'll be gone by tonight." "What?" "Savannah, no. We need to talk about this. We need to figure out how to handle what, Jason? Handle the fact that you've ruined my life? Handle the fact that our sons almost got infected because of your recklessness? There's nothing to handle. I'm done. I'm leaving. And I'm filing for divorce. You can't take the boys. Watch me. I'm their father. I have rights. You're their father who exposed them to HIV. Do you really want to have that conversation in court? Because I will tell the judge everything. Every woman. Every lie. Every moment you chose strangers over your family. I will burn your life to the ground if you try to fight me on this. We stood there in our kitchen, 12 years of marriage ending in anger and threats. I love them, he said quietly. I love you. I know I have a terrible way of showing it, but I do. Then let us go. Let me take them somewhere safe. Let me protect them from you the way I should have done years ago. He nodded slowly, tears running down his face. But can I say goodbye? You can see them at the supervised visitation center. My lawyer will set it up. You already have a lawyer. I'm going to get one first thing Monday morning. I left him standing there and went upstairs to pack. I pulled suitcases out of the closet and started throwing clothes in them. The boys' favorite pajamas. Their stuffed animals. Their toothbrushes. Everything they'd need for the immediate future. Jake appeared in the doorway. Mommy? What are you doing? Packing, sweetie. Are we going on a trip? Sort of. We're going to stay with Grandma for a while. In Flagstaff? Cool. Can we see snow? Maybe. Noah joined his brother. Is Daddy coming? I paused, a pair of Jake's jeans in my hands. No, baby. Daddy's going to stay here. It's just going to be us and Grandma for a while. Why? How do you explain this to a 6-year-old? How do you tell them that their father's betrayal has shattered their family? Sometimes grown-ups need some space from each other. Daddy and I are going through a hard time right now, and we think it's best if we're not living together for a while. Are you getting divorced? Noah asked. He'd learned the word from a kid at school whose parents had recently split. Maybe. I don't know yet. But either way, nothing changes between you and Daddy, okay? He still loves you very much. And so do I. Did Daddy do something bad? Jake asked. Smart kids. Too smart. Yes, I said honestly. Daddy made some bad choices that hurt Mommy. And when someone hurts you, sometimes you need to take some time apart. Is that why you were crying this morning? Yes. They both hugged me then, my beautiful boys, wrapping their little arms around me. We love you, Mommy, they said in unison. I love you both more than anything in the entire universe. My mother arrived at exactly 5:38 p.m. He came in like a force of nature, hugging me hard, checking on the boys, glaring at Jason. You, she said to him, her voice ice cold. You stay away from my daughter and my grandsons. If you try to contact them, if you try to come to Flagstaff, I will call the police. Do you understand me? Ma'am, I just want to say goodbye to my sons. You don't deserve to say goodbye. But I intervened. 5 minutes, Jason. That's all you get. He knelt down in front of Jake and Noah. They looked confused, sensing the tension but not understanding it. Boys, you're going to go with Mommy and Grandma for a little while. I'm going to stay here and work on some things. But I want you to know that Daddy loves you so much. And I'm so proud of you both. You're smart and kind and brave, and you're going to be okay. Mommy's going to take really good care of you. When will we see you again? Noah asked. Soon, buddy. Real soon. He hugged them both and I saw real pain on his face. Whatever else Jason was, liar, cheater, destroyer of lives, he did love his sons. In his broken, flawed way, he loved them. We loaded the car. My mother drove. I sat in the passenger seat, numb. The boys fell asleep in the back before we even got on the I-17 North. As we left Phoenix behind, my mother reached over and squeezed my hand. You did the right thing, she said. I know it doesn't feel like it right now. But you did. I looked out the window at the desert landscape passing by, at the life I was leaving behind. I waited too long, I whispered. I should have left years ago. If this story moved you, don't stay silent. Subscribe for more anonymous stories about love, betrayal, and the lessons we learned too late. Maybe. But you left now. That's what matters. We drove through the darkness toward Flagstaff, toward whatever future we were going to build from the wreckage of my marriage. My mother lives in a small 2-bedroom house on the west side of Flagstaff, near Buffalo Park. It's nothing fancy, built in the 1970s with wood paneling in the living room and a kitchen that desperately needs updating. But it has a big backyard with pine trees and the air is clean and cold, nothing like Phoenix. We arrived around 8:30 p.m. that Saturday night. The boys woke up as we pulled into the driveway. "Are we at Grandma's?" Jake asked, rubbing his eyes. "Yes, baby. We're here." My mother had prepared the guest room for us. Twin beds for the boys, a pull-out couch for me. She'd even put fresh flowers on the dresser. Winter flowers from the grocery store, carnations and baby's breath. "I know it's not much," she said apologetically. "It's perfect, Mom. Thank you." We got the boys settled. They were confused about why we'd brought so many things for just a visit, but they were too tired to ask many questions. I tucked them in, kissed their foreheads, promised we'd explore Flagstaff tomorrow. Then my mother and I sat at her small kitchen table drinking tea and I told her the full story. Every detail. Every betrayal. The HIV test results. The terror I'd felt waiting for the boys' results. She held my hand across the table and cried with me. "I should have made you leave him," she said. "Years ago. I should have insisted. I wouldn't have listened. You know that." "I know. But still. I watched you suffer and I didn't do enough to help you. You're helping now. That's what matters." We stayed up until almost 2 a.m. making plans. Legal plans. Financial plans. How to tell the boys. How to handle Jason. How to handle my new diagnosis. "First thing Monday morning you need a lawyer," my mother said. "I have a friend whose daughter is a family law attorney in Phoenix. Rebecca Chin. She's tough as nails and she specializes in difficult divorces." "Okay. And you need to see a doctor here in Flagstaff. Get established with an HIV specialist. Start treatment." "Okay. And the boys need to see a therapist. This is going to be traumatic for them even if we try to protect them from the details." "Okay." I felt like a robot just agreeing to everything. I was too exhausted to think, too broken to plan. I just needed someone to tell me what to do. Sunday was quiet. We walked around downtown Flagstaff with the boys, looked at the Christmas decorations, got hot chocolate at a coffee shop. Jake and Noah seemed happy, treating it like an adventure. They asked about Jason a few times. "When is Daddy coming to see us?" "Not right now, honey. He's busy with work." "Can we call him?" "Maybe later." I wasn't ready for them to talk to him. I didn't trust what he might say. I needed to get the legal situation settled first. Monday morning I called Rebecca Chin. Her secretary answered. "Chin Law Office. Hi, my name is Savannah Mitchell. I need to speak with Rebecca about a divorce." "One moment, please." Rebecca came on the line 2 minutes later. "Mrs. Mitchell? My mom told me you might call. I'm so sorry about what you're going through. Can you come to my office today? I'm in Flagstaff right now. Can we do a phone consultation?" "Absolutely. Give me your number and I'll call you back in 10 minutes. She called back exactly 10 minutes later. I was sitting in my mother's car in the parking lot of a grocery store, where the boys couldn't hear me. "Hey Savannah. Tell me everything." I told her. The 12 years of infidelity. The HIV diagnosis. The boys' exposure. My positive test result. Jason's apologies and promises that meant nothing. Rebecca was silent for a moment after I finished. Then, "Okay. This is what we're going to do. I'm filing an emergency custody order today. Given the HIV exposure of the minor children and your husband's reckless endangerment, we can get temporary full custody awarded to you within 48 hours. He'll be allowed supervised visitation only." "Will that hold up?" "Yes. The fact that he regularly shared personal grooming items with the children while knowingly being at risk for HIV transmission is legally classified as endangerment. Even though the boys tested negative, the risk was real and the behavior was negligent." "What about the divorce itself?" "We'll file concurrently. Arizona is a no-fault state, so we don't need to prove adultery, but the infidelity and disease transmission will absolutely factor into the custody arrangement and asset division." "Do you own property together?" "A house in Paradise Valley. In both our names. We'll get that appraised. You'll likely be awarded the house given the circumstances and the fact that the children need stability." "Does he have retirement accounts?" "Yes. And savings. And his business. We'll get all of it reviewed. I'm going to need financial documents from you. Bank statements, tax returns, property deeds. Can you get those?" "Most of them are at the house. Can you go back and get them?" The thought of going back to that house, of seeing Jason again, made me feel sick. I don't know. We can have someone else retrieve them. A friend, a family member. Or we can subpoena them. But the more information you can provide upfront, the stronger our case. I'll figure it out. Good. I'm sending you a retainer agreement via email. Once you sign it and send the deposit, I'll start filing paperwork today. We'll have you protected by Wednesday. Rebecca. Yes. Thank you. You don't need to thank me. This is what I do. And men like your husband, they don't get away with this. Not on my watch. I loved her already. Tuesday afternoon I called my friend Karen, the only friend in Phoenix I trusted completely. We'd been friends since Jake and Noah were babies, met at a Mommy and Me class and bonded over our mutual hatred of competitive parenting. Savannah. Oh my God, I've been trying to call you. Where are you? Jason said you took the boys to visit your mom, but... Karen, I need your help and I need you not to ask questions right now. Can you do that? Her voice changed. Of course. What do you need? I need you to go to my house. Jason should be at work today. He usually leaves around 8 and doesn't come back until 6. I need you to go into his office and get all of our financial documents. Bank statements, tax returns, investment account statements. Everything. They're in a filing cabinet next to his desk. Savannah, what's going on? I'm leaving him. I'm filing for divorce. But I can't tell you why yet. Please just trust me. Hey. I'll go right now. Where should I bring the documents? Can you overnight them to me in Flagstaff? I'll text you my mom's address. Of course. Savannah, are you okay? Are the boys okay? We will be. Eventually. He went to the house. Jason wasn't home, he was at work like I'd predicted. She texted me photos of herself with the filing cabinet, proving she'd found it. She overnight shipped 3 boxes of documents to Flagstaff. When Jason came home that night and discovered the missing files, he called me 17 times. I didn't answer any of them. Finally, he texted, Savannah, please talk to me. I know you took the financial documents. I know you're filing for divorce. Can we please just have a conversation? I texted back, no. My lawyer will be in touch. Don't contact me again. He texted, can I at least talk to the boys? I didn't respond. Wednesday, I had my first appointment with Dr. Linda Martinez at Flagstaff Medical Center's infectious disease clinic. My mother watched the boys while I went. I was terrified walking into that building, terrified of what this meant, terrified of being seen as someone with HIV. Dr. Martinez was in her 50s, with short gray hair and a calm, reassuring manner. She reviewed my test results from Phoenix. Your CD4 count is 523, she said. That's actually pretty good. Normal is between 500 and 1,500, so you're in the lower range of normal. Your viral load is 147,000 copies per milliliter. That's relatively high, which suggests recent infection. How recent? Given your exposure timeline and these numbers, I'd estimate you were infected within the last 2 to 3 months. Which aligns with what you've told me about your sexual contact with your husband. 2 to 3 months. That meant I'd been walking around with HIV for months without knowing. Had I hugged my sons? Yes. Had I made their meals? Yes. Had I kissed their scraped knees? Yes. Dr. Martinez saw my face. Savannah, you cannot transmit HIV through casual contact. Hugging, kissing, sharing food. None of that can infect your children. The only way HIV transmits is through blood, sexual contact, or mother-to-child during pregnancy or breastfeeding. Your sons were never at risk from you. But they were at risk from Jason. The sharing of razors and clippers is a theoretical risk, but it's very low. The fact that they tested negative is excellent news. But yes, your husband's behavior was reckless and dangerous. He walked me through the treatment plan. I would start on a 3-drug antiretroviral therapy regimen. Biktarvy, a once-daily pill that combined 3 medications. The goal is to get your viral load to undetectable levels, she explained. Undetectable means less than 20 copies per milliliter. Once you're undetectable and stay that way for at least 6 months, you cannot transmit HIV to anyone else. Not through sex, not through any means. It's called U equals U. Undetectable equals untransmittable. How long until I'm undetectable? Most people reach that point within 3 to 6 months of starting treatment. Some people faster. We'll test your levels every month to track your progress. Side effects. Biktarvy is generally very well tolerated. Some people experience nausea or headaches in the first few weeks, but most side effects resolve. The medication has come a long way in the last decade. She prescribed the medication. My insurance, still on Jason's plan for now, would cover most of it. My copay was $50 a month. I picked up the prescription at the pharmacy. The bottle was small, innocuous. Just a regular orange pill bottle like any other medication. 30 pills. 1 per day. I took the first one that night, sitting on my mother's couch after the boys went to bed. It was small, purple, easy to swallow. This pill would save my life. But it would also be a daily reminder of Jason's betrayal, every single day for the rest of my life. Thursday morning, Rebecca called. We have a hearing tomorrow at 10 a.m. in Maricopa County Superior Court. Judge Patterson. Can you be there? I'm 3 hours away. You need to be there, Savannah. This is for emergency custody. The judge will want to hear from you directly. Hey. I'll drive down tonight, stay with Karen. Perfect. I'll meet you at the courthouse at 9:30. Dress conservatively, look sympathetic but strong. This judge is fair but he doesn't like drama. I called Karen. Can I stay with you tonight? I have a court hearing tomorrow morning. Of course. What time are you coming? I'll leave around 6, get there by 9. The guest room is ready. Savannah, can you tell me what's going on yet? Tomorrow. After court. I promise. Friday morning was cold and gray, unusual for Phoenix. I wore a navy blue dress and flats, minimal makeup, my hair pulled back. I looked like a responsible mother. Which I was, despite everything. Rebecca met me in the courthouse lobby. She was petite, Asian American, probably in her late 30s, wearing a sharp black suit and carrying a leather briefcase that looked expensive. Ready? She asked. As ready as I'll ever be. Just answer the judge's questions honestly. Don't embellish, don't get emotional. Stick to the facts. You were married to a man who repeatedly cheated, contracted HIV, exposed you and potentially your children, and you left to protect them. That's the story. Jason was already in the courtroom with his lawyer, an older white man in an ill-fitting suit. Jason looked terrible. He'd lost weight, his face was gaunt, he had dark circles under his eyes. He tried to make eye contact with me. I looked away. Judge Patterson was in his 60s with white hair and reading glasses perched on his nose. He read through the motion Rebecca had filed, then looked up at us. This is a petition for emergency temporary custody based on allegations of child endangerment. Mr. Mitchell, do you have a response? Jason's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client denies any intentional endangerment. He was unaware of his HIV status during the time in question. But he was aware that he was engaging in high-risk sexual behavior with multiple partners, Rebecca interrupted. And he knowingly shared personal grooming items with his minor children, creating a risk of transmission. Judge Patterson held up his hand. Counselor, you'll have your turn. Mr. Henshaw, continue. Jason's lawyer continued. Your Honor, the children tested negative. In Phoenix called Family Bridges. It was a squat, beige building near the airport with a playground in front and security cameras everywhere. I drove the boys down from Flagstaff that morning. 3 hours in the car, Jake and Noah growing quieter the closer we got. Are you excited to see Daddy? I asked, trying to sound upbeat. I guess, Noah said. Jake didn't respond. We arrived at 1:45 p.m. for a 2 p.m. visit. A woman named Teresa greeted us at the door. Middle-aged, kind eyes, probably seen 1,000 broken families walk through these doors. You must be Jake and Noah. I'm Miss Teresa. I'm going to hang out with you and your dad today. We have games and toys and a really cool art corner. Sound good? The boys nodded, uncertain. Jason arrived at 1:58 p.m. He looked better than he had in court. He'd shaved, wore clean clothes, tried to smile when he saw the boys. Jake. Noah. I've missed you guys so much. They ran to him and he knelt down and hugged them. I watched from across the room, my arms crossed, my jaw tight. Teresa touched my arm gently. You can leave now, Mrs. Mitchell. We'll take good care of them. Pickup is at 4 p.m. I want to stay. It's usually better if parents aren't here during visitation. It can be confusing for the children. I'll be in the waiting room. If anything happens, anything at all, I'll come get you immediately. I promise. I forced myself to walk to the waiting room. I sat in an uncomfortable plastic chair and stared at the clock for 2 hours. What were they doing in there? Was Jason telling them lies about me? Was he playing the victim? At 3:47 p.m., Teresa came to get me. They're finishing up. Everything went fine. The boys had a good time. I went back to the visitation room. Jason was on the floor with Jake and Noah, building something with Legos. They were laughing. For a moment, looking at them, you'd think everything was normal. Just a dad playing with his kids. But nothing was normal. Nothing would ever be normal again. Okay boys, time to go, I said. Already? Jake whined. We're not done building. You can finish next week. Say goodbye to Daddy. They hugged him. Jason held them longer than necessary, his eyes closed. I love you guys, he said. Be good for Mommy, okay? We will. In the car ride home, Noah said, Daddy cried today. He did. Yeah. When we first got there. He said he was just really happy to see us, but I think he was sad. I'm sure he misses you both very much. Do you miss him? Jake asked. No, baby. I don't. Oh. We drove the rest of the way in silence. In February, the boys started seeing a child therapist named Dr. Amanda Rodriguez. Her office was in a converted house in downtown Flagstaff, painted bright yellow with a waiting room full of toys and books. Jake went first, then Noah. 50 minutes each. I sat in the waiting room reading magazines I didn't care about, wondering what they were saying in there, wondering if they blamed me. After the first session, Dr. Rodriguez came out to talk to me. How did it go? I asked. They're processing a lot. Which is normal. Jake is more worried about you than himself. He asked me if you were okay, if you were sad, if you were going to get sick. Sick? Did they somehow know? What did you tell him? I told him that his mommy is very strong and that you're taking good care of yourself and them. I asked him if there was a reason he was worried about you being sick, and he said you seemed tired a lot. I was tired a lot. The medication helped, but I was still adjusting. And the emotional exhaustion of leaving Jason, of the divorce, of protecting the boys. It was all crushing. And Noah? Noah is more angry than sad. He's angry at his dad. He said his dad ruined everything. Those were his exact words. I felt tears prick my eyes. He's not wrong. No, he's not. But we need to help him process that anger in a healthy way. He's 6. He doesn't have the tools yet to understand complex emotions. How long will they need therapy? Months at least. Maybe longer. Divorce is traumatic for children even in the best circumstances. And this isn't the best circumstances. I started my own therapy 2 weeks later with Dr. Sandra Wu, a trauma specialist. Twice a week I sat in her office and talked about Jason, about my marriage, about my diagnosis, about my fear and anger and grief. You're allowed to be angry, she told me in our 3rd session. I don't want to be angry. I want to move on. You can't move on until you let yourself feel what you're feeling. You're angry. That's okay. You have every right to be angry. If I start being angry, I'm afraid I'll never stop. Then we'll work on that together. But Savannah, you can't heal what you won't feel. So I let myself be angry. I screamed into pillows. I wrote letters to Jason that I never sent, pages and pages of rage and pain. I cried until I couldn't breathe. And slowly, gradually, the anger became something I could carry instead of something that drowned me. In early March, Dr. Martinez called me with test results. Your viral load is undetectable, she said, and I could hear the smile in her voice. Less than 20 copies. And your CD4 count is up to 687. You're doing great, Savannah. Undetectable. Undetectable. Which means you cannot transmit HIV to anyone. Not through sex, not through blood, not at all. You're safe. And more importantly, you're healthy. I sat down on my mother's couch and cried. Happy tears this time. I'd been taking that purple pill every morning for 3 months. Every day, same time, never missing. And it was working. My body was responding. I was going to be okay. What does this mean going forward? I asked. You keep taking your medication every day. We keep monitoring your levels every 3 months. As long as you stay undetectable for 6 months or more, you can live a completely normal life. You can date, you can have sex, with protection and disclosure, of course. You can do anything anyone else can do. Thank you, Dr. Martinez. You did the hard work, Savannah. You took care of yourself. That's what made the difference. After I hung up, I told my mother. She hugged me tight. See? I told you. You're strong. You're a survivor. I don't feel like a survivor. I feel like someone who got lucky. Luck has nothing to do with it. You left a bad situation. You protected your kids. You got treatment. That's not luck. That's courage. The divorce moved slowly through the courts. Jason didn't contest anything. He signed whatever Rebecca put in front of him. He was probably advised by his lawyer that fighting would only make things worse. By April we had a settlement. I got the house in Paradise Valley. Jason would refinance to get his name off the mortgage. I got primary custody of Jake and Noah. Jason got supervised visitation until a judge ruled otherwise. Jason paid child support, $3,200 per month. Jason paid alimony, $2,000 per month for 3 years. I kept my car, he kept his. We split the savings accounts 50-50ths. I got 60% of his retirement accounts. The extra 10% was for emotional damages related to the HIV transmission. Rebecca was pleased. This is a very good settlement for you. He's basically giving you everything. He destroyed my life. Yes. But not all men accept responsibility like this. He could have fought. He didn't. The final hearing was in May. Jason and I sat in the courtroom not looking at each other, while the judge reviewed the settlement agreement. Mr. Mitchell, do you agree to all the terms outlined here? Yes, Your Honor. Mrs. Mitchell? Yes, Your Honor. Custody, visitation, and financial arrangements are as outlined in the settlement. Good luck to both of you. And just like that, 12 years of marriage ended. We walked out of that courthouse no longer husband and wife. Just two people connected by children and history and one terrible mistake. Jason tried to talk to me in the parking lot. Savannah, I just want you to know. Don't. Please. There's nothing left to say. Can I at least ask how you're doing? Health-wise. I'm undetectable. Not that it's any of your business anymore. I'm glad. Really I am. And the boys are fine. No thanks to you. I know you hate me. I know I deserve it. But I need you to know that I really am sorry. I would do anything to go back and make different choices. I looked at him, this man who'd been my whole world for so long. He looked older now, worn down by guilt and consequences. You can't go back, Jason. None of us can. We can only move forward. Are you seeing anyone? The audacity of that question almost made me laugh. That's none of your concern. Right. Sorry. I hope you find happiness. You deserve it. What I deserve is a husband who didn't cheat on me for 12 years and give me HIV. But we don't always get what we deserve, do we? I walked to my car and drove back to Flagstaff. Divorced. Single. HIV positive. 37 years old. Starting over. In September, almost a year after everything fell apart, I decided it was time to tell Jake and Noah the truth. Not all of it, they were still only 7 years old, but more than I'd told them before. Dr. Rodriguez agreed. They're asking more questions. They're ready for more information. Age-appropriate but honest. I sat them down on a Saturday afternoon. My mother was out grocery shopping, giving us privacy. Boys, remember how I told you that Daddy made choices that hurt me? Yeah, Jake said. Well, I want to tell you a little bit more about that because I think you're old enough to understand now. They both looked serious, sitting on the couch with their hands in their laps. When Daddy and I were married, he was with other women. Women who weren't me. Even though we were married and that wasn't okay. Noah's eyes widened. Like dating. Sort of like that, yes. And that hurt my feelings very badly. Because when you're married, you promise to only be with your husband or your wife. Daddy broke that promise. A lot. That's mean, Jake said. It was mean. It was wrong. And because of it I got sick. Sick how? Here was the hardest part. I have something called HIV. It's a virus. I have to take medicine every day to keep it from making me really sick. But the medicine works really well, so I'm healthy and I'm going to be fine. Did Daddy give it to you? Noah asked, his face scrunched up. Yes. He didn't mean to, but yes. He got sick first and then he gave it to me. That's why you left him? That's part of why I left him, yes. Because he made choices that hurt me and could have hurt you guys too. Are we going to get sick? Jake asked, fear in his voice. No, baby. No. You both got tested, remember? You're healthy. You don't have HIV. You're going to be fine. Are you going to die? Noah whispered. I pulled them both into my arms. No. Not for a very long time. The medicine I take keeps me healthy. I'm going to be here for your whole lives. I'm going to see you graduate high school, go to college, get married, have babies. I'm going to be that annoying old grandma who won't stop taking pictures and pinching your cheeks. They giggled a little at that. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand why we don't live with Daddy anymore. It's not because of anything you did. It's because Daddy made bad choices and those choices had consequences. Do you understand? I think so, Jake said. I'm still mad at him, Noah said. That's okay. You're allowed to be mad. He hurt our family. But you know what? We're going to be okay anyway. We have each other, we have Grandma, we have this home. And that's what matters. Mommy? Jake asked. Can other people get sick from you? No, honey. Because I take my medicine every day, I can't give HIV to anyone else. It's safe for me to hug you, kiss you, make your food, all of that. The only way HIV spreads is through certain things that we don't need to worry about until you're much older. Okay. Do you have any other questions? Can we still see Daddy? Noah asked. Of course. If you want to, yes. He's still your dad. He loves you very much. He just made mistakes and adults have to face consequences for their mistakes. But he's always going to be your dad. Do you hate him? Jake asked. I thought about that. Did I hate Jason? There were days I thought I did. Days when the anger felt like it would consume me. But mostly I just felt sad. Sad for what we could have been. Sad for the years I wasted. Sad for my boys who deserved better. No, I said honestly. I don't hate him. I'm angry at him. I'm disappointed in him. But I don't hate him. Hate takes too much energy and I need all my energy for you guys. They seemed satisfied with that answer. That night after they went to bed, my mother asked how it went. Better than I expected, I said. They're resilient. Kids are so resilient. They get that from their mother. By the fall of 2025, we'd built a life in Flagstaff. A real life, not just survival mode. I got a teaching job at Killip Elementary School teaching 2nd grade. The same age as my boys, which felt right. I decorated my classroom with bright posters and a reading corner with bean bags. My students called me Mrs. Mitchell, even though I'd gone back to my maiden name, Mrs. Thompson. But the divorce paperwork took time, so Mitchell it was. Jake and Noah started 2nd grade at De Miguel Elementary, just a few blocks from my mother's house. They made friends. They joined the soccer team. They had sleepovers and playdates and birthday parties. They still saw Jason every Sunday at family bridges. The visits had extended to 3 hours, and there was talk of eventually allowing unsupervised visitation, though I wasn't ready for that yet. He's doing really well, Teresa told me in October. He's consistent, appropriate with the boys, clearly loves them. And they're responding positively. That's good. Savannah, I know this is hard for you. But at some point we might need to talk about unsupervised visits. I know. Not yet. Please. Hey. Not yet. I started attending a support group for people living with HIV. It met every Wednesday night at the community center, a dozen people sitting in a circle sharing their stories. There was Tom, a 58-year-old gay man who'd been positive for 30 years and was the healthiest person I knew. There was Jennifer, a nurse who'd contracted it from a needle stick at work. There was Jason, not my Jason, a different Jason, who got it from a blood transfusion before they screened donations. And there was David. David was 42, a high school English teacher, divorced with a teenage daughter. He'd contracted HIV from his ex-wife, who'd been cheating on him and didn't know she was positive. Our stories were different, but the pain was the same. We started talking after meetings. Then we started going for coffee. Then dinner. In November he asked me on a real date. I know this is complicated, he said. Both of us being positive, both of us having kids, both of us still dealing with our ex-spouses. But I really like you, Savannah. And I'd like to take you out. Properly. I said yes. We went to a small Italian restaurant in downtown Flagstaff. We talked about books and teaching and our kids and our diagnoses. We laughed. I couldn't remember the last time I'd laughed on a date. Can I ask you something? David said over dessert. Sure. Are you okay? Really okay? Because I know what it's like to be positive and divorced and starting over, and some days I'm okay and some days I'm not. I thought about it. Was I okay? I'm getting there, I said honestly. Some days are better than others. But I'm getting there. That's all any of us can do. We dated slowly. No rush, no pressure. Just two broken people trying to find something good in the wreckage. It's been a year since that night Jason handed me the envelope. A year since my world collapsed. The divorce is finalized. The house in Paradise Valley sold. I couldn't live there, couldn't even visit without feeling sick. We split the proceeds. I bought a small house here in Flagstaff, 3 bedrooms, a backyard within walking distance of the boys' school. It needs work, but it's ours. Mine and Jake's and Noah's. My viral load is still undetectable. My CD4 count is 742. I'm healthy. The boys are thriving. They love their school, their friends, their lives here. They still see Jason every Sunday, and the visits have extended to 5 hours now, still supervised but gradually moving toward independence. Jason sends child support on time every month. He calls the boys on Wednesday nights. He's in therapy, he tells me. He's working on himself. He's dating someone new, a woman named Cheryl who knows about his status and accepts it. I'm glad you found someone, I told him the last time we spoke. And I meant it. Not because I wanted him to be happy. I didn't care enough about him anymore to want anything for him. But because if he was in a stable relationship, maybe he'd stop making such destructive choices. David and I are still together. It's not perfect. We both have baggage, we both have days where the weight of our diagnoses feels crushing. But it's good. It's healthy. It's built on honesty and respect, things my marriage to Jason never had. The boys met David last month. We took them to the Museum of Northern Arizona and then got ice cream. Jake liked him. Noah was more reserved, but he warmed up eventually. Is David your boyfriend? Noah asked that night. Sort of, I said. We're dating. Taking things slow. That's okay, he said. He's nice. High praise from a 7-year-old. My mother watches all of this and smiles. You did it, she said last week. You survived. You more than survived, you're building something new. I guess I am. I'm proud of you, Savannah. Thanks, Mom. For everything. For letting us move in, for supporting me, for loving the boys. I couldn't have done this without you. Yes, you could have. But I'm glad you didn't have to. I'm sitting here on a Saturday morning in December 2025, 1 year after everything changed, and I'm writing this because I need to say it. I need someone out there to hear it. If you're in a marriage where you're being betrayed, where you're being disrespected, where you're being put at risk, please leave. I know it's not that simple. I know about the kids and the finances and the fear and the shame. I know about the voice in your head that says, but what will people think? And but I made a vow, and but my kids need both parents. I know. I said all those things too for 12 years. But here's what I learned. Your children don't need both parents in the same house. They need at least one parent who is healthy, strong, and safe. They need a parent who models self-respect and sets boundaries. They need a parent who chooses their well-being over preserving a facade. I failed my children by staying as long as I did. The only reason Jake and Noah don't have HIV is dumb luck. If Jason's razor had cut them just a little deeper, if the timing had been just slightly different, my sons could be taking medication for the rest of their lives. I got lucky. You might not. Don't wait for the envelope. Don't wait for the diagnosis. Don't wait for the tragedy that makes you finally leave. Leave because you deserve better. Leave because your children deserve better. Leave because life is too short and too precious to spend it with someone who doesn't respect you enough to keep you safe. A year ago I thought my life was over. I thought HIV meant death, meant shame, meant I'd never be loved again. I was wrong about all of it. I'm alive. I'm healthy. I'm building a life I actually want to live, not just one I'm trapped in. I have my sons. I have my mother. I have David. I have my teaching job and my small house and my Wednesday night support group. It's not the life I planned. It's not the fairy tale I dreamed about when I married Jason at 25. But it's mine. And it's good. And it's real. To everyone who prayed for Jake and Noah, thank you. They're safe. They're healthy. They're happy. And to anyone living my nightmare right now, please, please leave. Pack your bags tonight. Call a lawyer tomorrow. Don't wait for your luck to run out. Your life is worth more than your marriage. Your children are worth more than preserving a family that's already broken. I learned that too late. Please don't make my mistake. Savannah Mitchell Thompson. Flagstaff, Arizona. December 2025. I stayed to keep my family together. I left to keep my family alive. And in leaving, I finally learned what family really means. Not who shares your last name or your address, but who makes you feel safe, who helps you heal, who stands with you while you rebuild from ashes. My sons will grow up knowing their mother was strong enough to leave. That's the legacy I'm giving them. Not a perfect family. A brave one. Follow for real stories we're told to hide. Subscribe. Silence destroys more than truth ever will. Comment if this story hit too close to home.